Nakayakamit aswila kuwiattualuuleqqun. Kuwiasiviingeramik. Imisivut.
Amalu. And there was once a girl who was thrown into the sea by a man. She tried to hold on to the side of the boat, but he cut off her fingers to prevent the boat capsizing, and she sank to the bottom of the sea. There she made her home inside a huge bubble and became Nuliakjuk, mother of all life in the sea. Her fingers grew into seals and walruses, and it's Nuliakjuk who sends us her seals to keep us from freezing and starving to death. For seal is not only our food, the blubber and oil give warmth and light for our snow houses when the long night broods over our land. Cooper's little mittens came from a seal. So does the soft fur of my pants, and the skin of my boots. And all your little boots came from the children of the sea spirit. The traces and whips for our dog teams to carry us over the frozen sea in winter, coverings for our kayaks in summer, all these good things come to us from the waters of the sea. I have never seen Nuliakjuk, but people who dream a lot often see and hear strange things, and I once knew a man who had a dream and who shaped the likeness of Nuliakjuk out of a piece of stone. This is the likeness of Nuliakjuk, she who commands all living things in the sea. She has the large, round face of a woman, and instead of legs, Nuliakjuk has the tail of a fish. This carving was made by a great hunter named Niviaxi during a terrible winter when Nuliakjuk was angry with the people for breaking her laws. She kept her seals hidden far under the sea ice and sent fierce blizzards which kept the hunters locked in their snow houses. Tell Niviaxi by his tattooed wrist, if you ever got the chance to see it. I knew Niviaxi as well as I know myself, and it's his story I'm going to tell you. Near the end of that terrible winter I told you of, there was little food left in Niviaxi's igloo. There was Niviaxi and Kuyuk his wife, and their little daughter Pitzelak the pigeon asleep in her mother's bed. Their eldest son, Ekeruk the fish, of 12 winters, Tikatu of 4 winters, and Nominee, the sleepy one, of 7 winters. Kuyuk guarded carefully the thirsty flame in their lamp so that it wouldn't drink too much oil, for they had very little left. One day, Niviaxi got out his last piece of carving stone. Like most of our things, this piece came from the sea, and he could get no more until Serkanak, the sun, returned to melt the sea ice. What lay hidden in this last piece of stone? The flames in the stone lamp reminded him of the dancing waves on the sea in summer. Niviaxi listened, waiting for the stone to whisper to him. Taima nalu nangitu. Now there's no doubt about it. Niviaxi's hands worked to lay bare all that the stone held concealed. Outside, a faint glow appeared in the sky. Each day Sorkinerk the sun was coming nearer, but she was not yet strong enough to pierce the frozen night, and each day the land sank back into shadow. Though Niviaxi knew many magic words, even he had found little food out on the frozen sea. And because it is good to carve a likeness of what one desires most, Niviaxi was making a likeness of his wish, to be on good terms with Nuliakjuk, she who could make her seals visible and easy to hunt, or just as easily make them disappear. The carving was finished. The image of Nuliakjuk, mistress of the sea, had been set free from Niviaxi's last piece of stone. This was the first time Nominee had ever seen a hunter bring forth the likeness of Nuliakjuk, and he asked his father, and everyone began to ask, would Nuliakjuk send them plenty of seal once Sorkinerk returned? And even little Pitsulak, the pigeon, reached out towards Nuliakjuk. Sorkinerk was coming back after her long absence. Slowly she rose like human life from darkness, and shed her light across the frozen sea, driving away the glacial night. Early in the new day, Niviaxi and Ekaluk set out on their first seal hunt. A pressure ridge, heaved up by the power of the sea, barred their path. Danger could lurk here in hidden cracks. Niviaxi searched the ice for an igloo, the breathing hole of a seal. He would not go home until he found one, somewhere on this expanse of frozen sea. Niviaxi waited, watching for a movement in the water, to tell him a seal was coming up to breathe. The harpoon that kills does not really hurt the seal. It only feels like a drop of water. Joy filled Niviaxi's heart. Now there was meat for Pitzelak the pigeon, Ekalok the fish, Tikitu and Munami, and Kuyuk, his other self. Slowly, Sjokanek's warmth was loosening the icy claws that clasped the mountain peaks. The cool spring air whispered softly, and each day the blue tongue of the open sea came nearer and nearer towards the frozen land. After months of darkness and hunger, it was joy to climb the mountains, to see and feel the great distances, and watch the spring season advancing across the land. Sjokanek was melting their igloos, so it was time to move into summer two-packs. warmth of the open sea had reached the frozen shore, parting the last barriers of ice. The great sea has set me in motion, set me adrift, and I move as a weed on the river. As the ice drifted away, it was time to move about in kayak and umiak, and look for fish and seal, and walrus and bear, and go to the island of Kerkotadok, whose waters held the precious carving stone. At Kerkotadok, a man must wait until the sea withdraws, for only then can he gather the stone. Stone for lamps, stone for pots, stone for who knows what he may find in the stone. Eased from the sea floor, each chosen piece contains a story, a bird, a bear, or a seal for a carver to find within it. Why do we carve? It's hard to say. Kyaksuk carves because he likes to release the images of life he sees around him. Why does Ushwituk carve? There has been a woman kneeling in the stone all the time. He has just taken away the parts of the stone that don't belong. And the son loves to imitate the father in carving as in the hunt, for a boy is not a man until he can do both. Tai Tusi shapes a stone lamp for his young bride, and she prepares for a young hunter, it may be. In the old days, men like Niviaxi with a tattooed wrist carved only for themselves. Nowadays, we carve more and more for the tall white Kadluna men. But now, as then, we look at things in just the same way. First, a carver sees a creature hiding in the stone. Then, in his mind, he moves the creature until its form fits the stone. Then he cuts away until the true form emerges for everybody to see. Sometimes, maybe, there is more than one creature in the same piece of stone, and the carver must release them both. For we carve what we see when we see it. That is our way. Not for long can we escape the threat of the cold, the sudden blizzard, starvation. These fight man, and man fights the beasts in order to live. And always the hands of death are extended to both beast and man on equal terms. But all during this glorious summer, the spirit of death was far from the people. Sjokenerk breathed her warmth, releasing waters from their long imprisonment, encrusting each stone and rock with brilliant lichens, and sending her power flowing over lowlands and hills until all the earth was made beautiful, and the summer air swarmed with 1,000,000 insects. Never had there been a summer like this. Into the summer camps scattered along the rocky coast came seal after seal. And each day the hunters returned with more and more seals. Nuliakjuk was being kind to her people, she who has the large round face of a woman and the tail of a fish, and commands all living things in the sea. She keeps her seals in a large pool at the bottom of the sea, for there are lands at the bottom of the sea as there are above the sea. And all those who hunt her creatures, if they are to succeed, must know her rules and abide by them. Then, on the hottest day in summer, at the height of all this plenty, who should come back with a seal but Ekelok? It was the boy's first catch. His mother was the first to see what had happened, and then everyone came running down to greet him. The boy's first seal is a very special occasion, and everyone helped to carry Ekeloks home. Tikitu felt the seal all over. Then Nominee let some fresh water drip into the seal's mouth, because we believe that seals who live in salt water only allow themselves to be caught to get a drink of fresh water. Kuyuk cut the seal up in a special way. According to our local custom, only she, the boy's mother, can do this. No man can do this, but Ekelok's mother can be helped by the woman who assisted at his birth 12 winters ago. While this was going on, Niviaxi was away preparing for Katnemayo, which is a gathering of friends, for as many people as possible must partake of a boy's first seal. As this was Ekruk's first catch, he couldn't eat anything of it himself, and everyone had a good laugh over this. Perhaps his mother would give him a tasty piece of fish. Niviaxi felt big inside because he loved people to be happy. All that good summer there was joy in all the camps of the people, everywhere feasting, everywhere dancing. But each day the path of the sun trailed lower and lower across the land of the sky. Soon Okrorik, the spirit of the snowdrift, would drive away even this perfect summer day. Soon the spirits of the air and sky would freeze the land until it was again like stone, and lake and sea and land would lie as one under the great silence. And so the powers that rule earth and man are many. They are all about us, whispering to us like the wind spirit. But of all these, the sea spirit is the greatest. We take from the sea what we are given and give to each other what we have. That is our way. There are many other things I still have to tell you, other spirits, other people. For besides ourselves, there are the people of the antlers, the berry eaters, and the people of the muskox who live in the path of the setting sun. And in the warm lands where trees grow, the many Kedluna people who live in tall houses, one above the other, like birds on the side of a cliff. And there are many other stories of Niviaxi, too, of how he was nearly eaten by Nanook the bear. But in the end, he ate the bear. But all these stories must wait. Wait for another day, another time.